Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sean Deacon. I'm a Principal Premier Field Engineer with the Dynamics 365 team at Microsoft. It's the first time we've done one of these sessions in a room like this with spotlights, so you have to bear with me as I stare and look for questions as we go through here. A little bit about myself. I started with the Dynamics CRM support team with 1.0 back in 2003, so in Fargo, North Dakota, you betcha. And 1-800-Microsoft is, some of you may have submitted support cases back and forth. That was the team that I was on as a support engineer and as a technical lead for 5 years on that team. And then the last 9.5 years, I've been part of our Premier organization. So if you have Premier support, show of hands, how many people have Premier support? So you might be familiar with the PFE role. That's our role. And then specifically the DSE offering, the Designated Support Engineer offering. So myself and Sean McNillis, who introduced himself in a minute here, are both what we call DSEs. So we've got some dedicated customers that we work with. See some folks in the crowd that I've worked with a lot on customers back and forth. We work with the large kind of global enterprise deployments of Dynamics 365.
My name is Sean McNellis. I have a similar history to Sean. I started at Microsoft in January of 2004, was on the support team for roughly 5 years, and also moved over to help start the PFE, I guess you call it implementation for Dynamics CRM at the time, and have been on the PFE team ever since. I focus more, I would say, on development, performance, and tuning, although with online, the focus is really on whatever the customer needs. So, but we look a lot into how to extend the platform, how to make it easier, how not to rebuild something we've already built, but to take better advantage of what's there. And then recently, it's really exciting because you can use a whole bunch of new connected stuff, right? How to easily get from the platform of CRM and customer engagement out into Azure and use compute resources out there.
All right, so before we get started, so just kind of a quick show of hands. I want to poll the audience a little bit to get an idea of who's all here. So how many folks here today are primarily working with Dynamics 365 in their roles? So the majority. How many here are just learning about Dynamics 365?
Or is it, raise your hand if it's extracurricular, it's an additional thing for you on an existing workload.
Yeah, so some of that as well.
All right,
okay.
A little bit.
So a good mix. What's that?
Yeah, who started on CRM 1.0?
There's a hand. Awesome.
One, good.
Excellent.
We'll jump right to 3.0. Yeah. How about 4.0? 2011? Oh, all right. And then 2013 plus, online, yeah.
On-prem? That's the next question. How many folks here are still on-prem? Both? No, hybrid? Yep, we have a lot of customers in that.
We've got two environments. 2013 on-prem and Dynamics 365 in the cloud.
Yep, we see a lot of that as well. Excellent. Perfect. And how many people here are still on 2011 on-premise?
Well, it depends on which one of my market you're talking about. So I have 4.0, 2011, 2015.
Okay, so he's got, we'll try to repeat the questions because I know you can't hear him on the crowd. So one guy's on 4.0, 2011, and 2013. Or 2015, excuse me. So across all of them. Excellent. All right. So the title of our session is Tips and Tricks for Deploying and Managing Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Sales and Service. They let us cut out customer, right? No, it's for customer service. The other one, we got to shorten it a little bit. How many people here still call it CRM? Right? Yeah, the majority. Yeah. So it's I'll let Sean, just because we wanted to, with its being kind of new with the naming, it was like November of last year when this switched over. We figured we should level set a little bit, especially with this audience, on the naming, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Yep, so as you guys know, Dynamics CRM's been around for a long time, and of course it went to we called it Dynamics 365 last year, right? So there was Dynamics 365, which was basically, the product formerly known as CRM, and then there was Dynamics 365 for operations. So there's finance operations, which has historically been an ERP product. There's some additional offerings under Dynamics 365, and then there's this other sub-umbrella called customer engagement, and we really wanted to call it for customer engagement because we actually thought that would be pretty clear. But as you may well know or may not know, customer engagement includes a whole bunch of different products and modules as well, and there's more. So two of those very common ones are sales and service. Our platform is going to be more of a platform and modules on top of it. And so things like sales and service are uninstallable or installable. And so what we're really talking about is what you would normally call CRM. It's that platform. It just happens to be scoped to sales and service so that it would be clear.
Right. Yep. And the other question, how many people here have been to one of our sessions, either at Convergence or Ignite before?
A couple.
Quite a few. Okay, excellent. So, and the format that we like to do is interactive discussions. They've kind of gone away from the interactive discussions here. But we want to keep this interactive as well. So we'll repeat the questions as you have them, because this is, I mean, this is, you guys have, there's enough sessions that you go to that are just, death by PowerPoint and all this marketing information. Where in here we can actually talk about deployments. What are the actual issues that you're running into? And we are being live streamed, so just if you ask a question, we need to repeat it. Just remember it is live streamed. It'll be on YouTube and stuff later as well. But we'll go ahead. We have some tips that we're going to go through here, so you guys can see this. And then, like as McNillis just said, it's kind of across the board, all different areas, and then we can break into kind of whatever topics you guys have after that. So. That was the objectives, talk about that. As far as the kind of the first tip, one of the things that whether in the scenario where you're on premise and you're looking to go online, you need to understand the new features and functionality, right? Because there's things that you were doing in 4.0 a certain way because they weren't available, right? You didn't have workarounds. You had to do you had to use this other solution, or you had to do something unsupported to meet the customer's needs. And now in 8.2 and with Dynamics 365 Online, it's version 8.2, that feature functionality might be available. So things like business rules, for example, potentially could retire some JavaScript and different things like that you no longer need. So we've got some great resources. The other thing I should call out is I just published a blog article 2 minutes ago. So it's on our CRM in the Field blog. And so if you just search for that, that's the only thing you have to write down in this whole session, CRM in the Field blog. Because we have everything we're going to talk about, every link, every URL is all in that blog article. So you'll be able to reference that. So just trying to save you guys some time and note-taking, and you can still take pictures if you want, but you don't have to as we go through here. So other important things, the link to the Dynamics 365 roadmap. So if you haven't taken a look at the roadmap already, make sure you go and check out the roadmap. It's got things that are in development, things that are currently released or just previously released, things that are postponed, and then you can filter down on that for Dynamics 365 sales and service and talent and all the other Dynamics 365 apps that we have now, and that's a great starting point. The other part for those of you, especially folks that are administrators, and going through and looking for that type of stuff, important changes coming in the next release. So the next release is it's version 9. That'll be the next release that's out. I don't know what, externally it's named a couple things. You've seen it as the July 2017 release, but that'll be coming soon. And that's what this article covers, is there's a lot of deprecation announcements.
Is it really a major version release?
It is.
It is a major version release.
So the question is it really a major version release? And yeah, right now we are on 8.2, and this will be our biggest release ever. And that's part of the reason why we're making sure we get it right.
Is there going to be an on-prem release?
There won't. So the question is, will there be an on-premise release? And there will not be an on-premise release with version 9. So the one, the following release after, 9.1.
So there will be an on-premise.
There will be on-prem with the next one, but the intent of this one, if you remember back to our cadence, kind of how the spring release was an online-only release, and then fall was both online and on-premise. We're kind of following that path, but it's delayed a little bit for where we're at. So it's going to be this one will be online only for V9, and then in the spring it'll be 9.1.
Deprecating service endpoints in 9.0.
We will get to that.
We're going to cover that.
Yep.
So, but this article there covers the other deprecations, and we'll talk about a few of the important ones as we go along here.
All right, data migration strategy. So we're going to talk a little bit about data migration because it's really important. Obviously, if you're going to the platform, it's incredibly important because you have to get your data there, and even for daily use. So we operate deployment of Dynamics 365 customer engagement internally for our own staffing of our own team. And data migration is a daily thing for us multiple times a day. We bring in updated contract and consumption data, but obviously going live is a big thing. So what we wanted to talk about a little bit was the data loader. If anybody's heard of that, we have a tool that is available in most regions. There are some regions that it's not available in, but it's a data loading tool that allows you to upload a CSV file and load the data with fairly high throughput. You're going to notice it's pretty easy to use. It's not super flexible, so if you want to change a lot about your mapping, maybe do sub-entities, there's a little bit of work that you have to do with it. It's very UI-centric. It's online on the web, and you run through it. And again, there's a URL in our blog article. You can go read about the data loader itself. So it's fairly common, though, that what you want to do is have customized mappings, do lookups, meaning, hey, I'm going to import this account, and I want to reference a sub-account by the number. How do I do that? And for that, we see a lot of our customers, and again, we work in the large enterprise space, so a lot of customers will start off with something like an SSIS or a Scribe integration tool, some ETL tool, and of course, there's a bunch, Cozy Rock, Kingsway Soft, and these things allow you to get in and customize and not necessarily be a .NET developer and write your own framework for data migration. That being said, if you don't want to use those tools, or maybe you don't have people that are trained in SSIS, or you don't have DBAs that know that, or you have a developer on hand that's very proficient at this, you can use our existing organization service or APIs to call and import the data yourself. And for that, what we really recommend using is our own .NET SDK. Technically, you can use whatever you want. We have a web API. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But use the SDK, and you'll be set as far as coding against the instance. There's also something called the PFE core library. Myself and another colleague who now works on the R&D team wrote a library that allows you to take, let's say, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, 10 million records, whatever you want, and define how you would like that loaded. So do you want it parallel? If you want it parallel, do you want to use execute multiple? So all these tweaks, if you're familiar with the platform and you get down to that low level and you want to tweak it, but you want it just to be a little bit easier, where you've got this huge list and you say, here, just go create these things. And by the way, here are the parameters. That's what that library gives you, is the developer-centric feeling and coding experience, but it makes the parallelism more declarative and easy to trigger. The other thing is I want to talk about on-prem to online. So if anybody is, first off, is anybody looking to migrate from on-prem to online? I'm just curious. Okay, so there's a few people in the audience. This is something that we've been working on for a really long time, and it's obviously a pretty intricate thing. We want to make sure that we do it right. There is an on-prem to online migration that's becoming available soon. It'll be in private preview soon. And the good news is, because you're at Ignite or you're listening into Ignite, there is a session on that on Friday morning at 9 a.m. That's in West 207 AB, so that should be in this hall downstairs and over a little ways. And that gentleman will go through, actually we have two people that will go through what that tool looks like, when we would anticipate it to come out in private preview, how it works, and it's a great venue to ask questions about how that's going to work as a customer or a partner. And I'm sure they'll go through exactly how to get enrolled as well when it comes to preview.
All right, the next topic is around ISV solutions. So as you're looking at the features and functionality of what's available in the product, kind of what you can do, maybe what your development team can do with the resources that you have, sometimes that's not available out of the box, right? Or you don't have the skill sets to do that. It doesn't make sense financially to do it for the time that it would take you to build and maintain that. We have a lot of great ISV solutions, so independent solution vendors, that have written solutions for Dynamics 365 and specifically for certain verticals that you can look to leverage. And a lot of them are now out on AppSource. So it's the Microsoft AppSource. If you just search on there, you can go out and check it out. So and most of them have a try before you buy model as well, where you can download it. It's a managed solution. Right? You import that solution. You can kind of try it out, get some ideas from it, see if it's going to work for you. If it is, great. Then you can talk to licensing conversation and do that. Or maybe it gives you some ideas on things that you can do yourself. You have lots of options there. So keep that in mind. It's out in AppSource. Lots of good resources out there. The other thing to keep in mind is with Dynamics 365 Online especially, and as you move to new versions, you have to make sure your ISVs are also going to be moving along with you. Right? So if you've taken a dependency on an ISV solution and you're on, say, version 7.1 still, we have a few customers still, and you're looking to move, you need to make sure that they've upgraded their solution and it's compatible as you move forward. More importantly, as we go to V9, right, as you start to make the first move, make sure that ISV solution, if you still need to have that in place, is ready to go as well.
All right, so let's talk about something that's, I guess you could say, near and dear to my heart, federation, identity. And identity is a huge thing. So one thing we have all kinds of areas we work with a lot of customers, but when you go live especially, there's a big concern with identity, and there should be from a security and access standpoint. And so, one thing we want to highlight is we're part of Office 365 in terms of their technical setup, right? So Office 365 rides on top of Azure AD, and then we're part of that Office 365 suite or area of products. And so, a question that I get is, all right, we've got SharePoint nailed, we've got Azure AD sign-in nailed, that works great. Now, we'll have to start over. What are we going to do with Dynamics 365? And from a customer engagement standpoint and sales and service standpoint, the good news is you can ride right along with it. And so if you have federation set up with an external federation provider, or you're using ADFS, or you're using single sign-in, all of that works. We sign in through that Office 365 sign-in experience, and it goes into the app from there. And so that means whatever you've configured, you can utilize. Things like conditional access. So conditional access came out in preview. We didn't support it right away. But the good news is the folks over in the identity team came over and worked with our product group to get it hooked up and working. And if you have conditional access, you can add conditional access policies on top of this. Another thing that I get inundated with questions on is licensing. So the amount of times I've heard a customer talk about, and this isn't, how much does it cost and where do we get it and how do we buy it? That's its own animal. This is just, I want to assign a user a license. So how do I go about doing that? And by the way, I'd really like it if a user could just join a group, but I know you don't do that, so we've written this huge PowerShell script that we run every 3 hours, or we run an SSIS package that does it, an ETL job. Well, the good news is, based on all that feedback, also the Identity CXP team got together with the developers and said, you know what, we need group-based licensing. And so over the course of maybe 6 or 9 months, they worked on this feature and it's out there. And I think it's maybe one of the, maybe not talked about as much as it should be, let's say it that way. Group-based licensing is you can set up security groups, and this is any license. So this is if you have E5 licenses, if you have Link, Skype for Business, SharePoint, all of it works, and you set up a template. You go into the Azure AD portal, you set up a template and say, this persona for this group, what we're gonna have here is a SharePoint license, a Skype for Business license, a Teams license, and Dynamics 365. And when you do that, when a user joins that group, and that synchronizes through AAD Connect, the user is just licensed within a few minutes. And so all those complicated PowerShell scripts, managed service identities that you're using to run those scripts, there are still scenarios where you might need to use that or want to use that. But in general, if you've got Azure AD Basic for your users or higher, you can take advantage of group-based licensing, and it's a very cool feature. Highly recommend you go check it out if you're putting users in the cloud for any product.
So the question is, where can we find more? And we've got the link to it on our blog. So CRM in the field, if you look at I got the Ignite post with all the links. So we've included everything we talk about will all be on that in that blog article with links to it.
And it's just blogs.msdn.com/CRM in the field. And you can find the link there. Otherwise, at docs.microsoft.com, if you search group-based licensing, it'll come right up. And there's some announcements in a blog article on that as well from the Azure AD team. We will look right into that.
It's there? It should be. I just, I posted it 2 minutes before the session started. So I hit maybe refresh, it might be there. If not, we'll look at it afterwards. I'll get it, I'll make sure it's there.
Yeah.
Another question.
Is Azure B2C supported in Dynamics 365? So I thought that was an easy answer because I got that one earlier. Then the answer is, can I log in B2C into CRM online or into customer engagement? The answer is no. So I can't use a B2C or more consumer identity to log into the product. It's not quite that simple though, of course, as per usual, because we have something called portals. And so if I have a portal and I've deployed the Dynamics portals, I can use B2C for portals. And so this is things like customer self-service, the ability for a customer to log in and view their tickets. It's technically separate from the CRM platform, meaning they're not logging into your company's information. So yes, you can use B2C for external portal usage. B2C is not used for logging into your company's instance of customer engagement. That being said, we have B2B, so lots of acronyms being thrown out, but that's business to business, meaning you've got another company that you've partnered with who's also on Office 365 or just Azure AD. you can add those identities in and license them as if they were part of your own organization, with the caveat that, of course, all whatever policies you have around that are enforced through Azure AD. But good question.
Yeah. All right. So another topic that comes up around all the Dynamics 365 is reporting. And in one of the changes, the big changes as you move from on-premise, where you have a lot of SQL-based reports, to online, is it's only fetch XML-based reports. So you can no longer have SQL-based reports. So that needs to be part of the strategy that you look at for those of you who are looking to move to online, is to figure out how do we get these reports either in a fetch XML-based format or some other scenarios we'll talk about in just a few minutes. But the easiest way for this stuff, for those of you who haven't taken a look at that yet, if you could go into Advanced Find and you write your Advanced Find, right in the top, there's a Download Fetch XML button right in the ribbon. You download that, there's your Fetch XML to get you started on your report. So if you can write an Advanced Find in Dynamics 365, you can write the Fetch XML to at least get you most of the way there.
Does 9 extend the fetch XML capabilities?
The
Start doing
Say it. There it is. I knew it'd come up. So the question is, does V9 extend the capabilities of Advanced Find and give us some of this stuff? Number one suggestion on aka.ms/CRM ideas is not in, right? And it does, right?
Yeah.
It's in V9. We'll be able to do the not ins as well.
I thought it currently already exists. You just have to edit it. It's not something you can use as a GUI. You have to edit it.
Yeah, so the point is that there are some additional ways you can do effectively not exist, or you can do an outer join, and you can do that through editing the XML yourself. It's added to Advanced Find, but there is some additional operators added in V9 as well. So yeah, it's one of those not so simple answers, but yes, you're correct.
Well, it would be, to his response, it would be great if you could modify your fetch XML and upload it back into Advanced Find, but there's no way to do that. So,
Right. So the comment was it would be great if you could modify your download the Fetch XML, go modify it, add some different things, and then upload it back to the Advanced Find to be able to see that. That's not available today.
is that something we're going to be looking at for version 9 or 9.1?
It won't be in 9.
Yeah,
sure.
not that specifically. You can, you can take, so if you have a scenario of, I want to edit fetch XML, I want something fairly complicated to be expressed, you can technically create that as a view and upload it, and it would show in Advanced Find, but it's not going to render, right? So Advanced Find will understand what it can understand. And there's even some system views under under users, for instance, you'll notice that if you pull that view up in Advanced Find, it'll have a little exclamation point and say, I can't render this. Technically, yes, if you had a view where you had something more advanced than Advanced Find, you could save that back, but it's not necessarily recommended, because if a user goes to edit it, then you get questions. And ideally, we go back and since 2011 or 4.0, now we've gone back, we've added a couple more things. So hopefully those things now show up in Advanced Find. They'll be saved there in the first place. But there is a workaround. It's not super graceful, and it's not the best user experience, though.
All right. So a couple other things. So extending it further for those of you, Power BI. So how many people are using Power BI with their Dynamics instance today? Good, it's about
Good.
half, right? So that's a great way to leverage that. And it's just really nice that we've got the ability to do that now easily with Dynamics 365. We've even got some content packs out there to get you started. So if you've never used it before, you can just go download Dynamics 365 content packs, and you can put that in place. And there's some kind of pre-built dashboards and data sets and things like that for you that are very easy to go ahead and get you started. And then also, for those of you who aren't as familiar with Power BI, ability to pull in your Dynamics 365 data, but also data from all other data sources, right? Whether it's a SQL database, if it's an Oracle database, or basically any other product that is out there. There's a whole list of them. I don't have the exact number that are supported, but you can create data sets. You can mash that up and do whatever you want with that data then in Power BI for the most part. So I don't know how, I look at how we run our meetings now at Microsoft, and if I think back a few years ago, we used to run them through PowerPoint. Everybody, you create a PowerPoint, you'd go into the meeting, and they'd proudly display it up there. And then someone asks the question, like, well, what about this? Or what about that? Or can we drill into this country? And you could never do that. It was always, I'll get back to you. And that may or may not happen, as everybody knows. But with Power BI, we're able to do it right there. Right? We can drill into it. We can look at it and kind of see that information real time in most cases. So, and then the other part that we've added recently was the data export service. And so this is a service that we have that connects with Dynamics 365 to be able to pull that down into a SQL Azure instance. And then you can report on it from there. You can go into it, you can query it. So for those of you, I just want to write a select statement. I want to be able to query this. The data export service allows you to do that.
Yeah, one thing on the data export service. So this is an area that I see almost every customer. Eventually they say, hey, we need to do this. And like Sean just said, ultimately what it does is as records change, we notify a service and it goes through some magic and winds up getting blasted into your SQL Azure database. So you set up an Azure database, there's a whole bunch of instructions on how to get it set up. It's a little technical. However, once you get it set up, you can pick an entity to export. So if you've always wanted to know, like, what exactly are my shares, my principal object access records, I can't see those in online, you can export them and see them. From an admin standpoint, I can totally understand. There's comfort in knowing what's there. Like I can see the data in the UI, but I want to see the data. This gives you as close to you'll get as a SQL backup for these entities. So anything that supports change tracking, along with a couple other special entities like POA, show up in data export service. And the important thing to know, and somebody came up earlier and kind of said, well, we've had some flakiness with that data export service. The important thing to understand is what we're doing is from our managed service and SaaS service, CRM Online, we notify this service that we've written, a satellite service, and that inserts it into your database. And so if your database is a standard 0, which is like 10 DTUs, and you make 500,000 changes or even 500 changes, you're going to see that little meter in Azure go up. And it is in your Azure subscription too, so you can pick how much resources you want to dedicate. And so why is that important? It's important because our service is just going to take a fire hose and blast the data at you, at your Azure database. And so if you have a lot of changes, you'll need a higher level of SQL or expect some failures, and we'll do some retries and stuff like that. So it's an important note because if you're going to use it, especially for business critical items, you want to make sure you give it the appropriate level of resource, and you also want to make sure you monitor it. So put some of those Azure alerts on there that tell you if you have high DTU and that sort of a thing. But when people say, man, online's great, but I really need that SQL database, this scratches that itch if you need it. Additionally, if you want like a super fast report and you want to use some of the cool Power BI row-level filtering based on the UPN of the user, you want to do something advanced that you just feel like you can't quite get, this gives you that capability. And so it's really, in my opinion, it's a very cool option. And with that kind of dovetails into the next topic, which is integration. And so again, if I'm I'm going over, I'm going to migrate to the CRM Online. The good news is most of the ETL, well, all of the ETL tools and anything you're using today, if you're on-prem 2015 or on-prem 2016, those things work with online. The biggest question is identity. So does it support the auth flow for online, which most of these tools, if not all of them, do. So when it comes to integrations, the question is just how far away am I? Can I connect to the instance? And you can map it over. But that being said, there's two ways, or two schools of thought at least. The first is we have 17 integrations on-prem and 14 different tools and 17 different packages in SSIS. Can I take all those dozens of resources and just sort of point them at the cloud, at CRM Online, customer engagement, and fire away? And the answer is yes. Now, does that make the most sense? Probably depends. And what I usually recommend with our customers is take those things, prioritize them, and then let's find some lower investment and higher impact areas where more of a cloud native or cloud centric approach works. And so what does that mean? So that means looking at things like logic apps. Logic apps, if you're not familiar, think of more of a declarative version of BizTalk in the cloud, right? So you can say, you pull up a big workflow editor in Azure and you say, hey, every time an account changes, listen for that. And if X is different than Y, or if this is greater than that, or you can pick whatever you want out of these list of rules, and you can even script it similar to Excel and say, hey, if this number is greater than 90%, or parse the data out and turn it into an integer and write that into an email. You can do all these great little tweaks in the Logic app. And so what happens is if I update 100 records, we spray off 100 change notifications to Logic apps, and Logic app runs 100 different Logic apps, and it'll do things like integrate or send a user an email or do whatever you have to do that way. And that is a scalable service with an SLA that's used in critical applications. The other thing is Flow, which is built on top of Logic Apps, so you get a lot of the same functionality and connectors. We've had users in our own business say, I don't care what anybody else wants, I need an email. So here's my question, I need you, can you do this for me? And the answer is, as an admin, I'm sure if anybody else in the audience has been in this situation, you say, that's great, Steve, but you know what? Every other manager in our organization, the other 300 don't want this. And so what we've used Flow for is we'll say, here's some information about Microsoft Flow. Go sign up and say, hey, every time an opportunity changes and it's assigned to me, email me. And so it's from Steve to Steve with all the stuff Steve wants. A little bit more of a barrier to entry because he has to go do that and manage that. But the good news is Flow will just run. So another little tweak. The other thing I'll mention is Power Apps. We can talk a little bit about that, but Power Apps is a way, if you've seen the demo, it's a way to write your own mobile app within Power Apps and publish that and use those apps with your users. Power Apps uses a similar connector as Flow and Logic Apps. You can kind of see where we're going with this. It'll hook right in, and you can write Power Apps as well against Dynamics customer engagement. Now, for folks who say, you know what, that's really cool, but I need something more dev-centric. I need something more heavy, for whatever reason. Or we use Service Bus. Can you participate? Absolutely. So we have the ability to notify Service Bus. We can do two-way relay, meaning I can go talk to something on the other side and wait for an answer and come back. We can also notify Service Bus and just drop messages off on the Service Bus and you can process them. So Service Bus is very powerful if you're thinking, hey, you know what I really want to do? I want to notify this thing every time something happens. So what I'm going to do is write this Dynamics 365 plugin and custom code, and I'm going to open up a web request, and I'm going to do all this great stuff. I would challenge you to think, would it make more sense to instead notify Service Bus? Because you have to remember, plugins, if you're familiar with CRM development, these things are stateless. They should be handled as stateless. And so you just don't know sometimes, is it going to execute in 1 second? Or is it going to take a little bit longer? Or is what I'm going to do going to take a long time on the other side? So something like Service Bus allows you to get guaranteed, once the message is in there, it's delivered and in there, and the thing on the other side can pick it up. So just something we've used on a lot of our customers and we've looked at, and it scales very well, and it's a very good way to make sure you've got a good integration and something reliable.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so the question was, data export service is great. It's been very helpful. Best feature this year. No, just kidding. Oh yes, okay, it is. And how do we get stage times in there? And how do we get data? And I'm just going to generify it a little bit more, but I don't see X entity in there. Fill in the blank. So the first thing is, I don't know specifically on the stage timer. It's a good question. I haven't looked into that specifically, and I can offline. But if you have a question about if an entity is supported for data export, go into the customizations editor. If it's enabled for change tracking, it can be used in data export service, and you need to turn on change tracking because there are some entities that don't have it enabled. If you want that entity to show up, custom entity, you don't see it, first thing you do, enable it for change tracking, and then that particular entity will show up. The other thing is too, I will, aka.ms/CRM ideas. It sounds like a throwaway answer, but I promise you, you'll notice, we found a couple features today that we didn't realize that were accepted and are being worked on for the next version. So there is a push to make sure our roadmap is updated more frequently and that the ideas site is looked at more frequently and updated. So things like data export service, definitely put those ideas out there and we can point the developers and PMs towards that because there are a couple things that are missing at times, and that team's been pretty good and pretty responsive with getting those things in. Some are easier than others, right? So like POA, I think, was pretty easy to get in, whereas some, other system entities might be a little bit more complicated. So But yeah, follow up with us offline. We can look, but mainly if it's allowed for change tracking, it'll show up in automatically in data export.
Excellent. All right. So another topic is the Outlook integration. Obviously a very important one for the sales, service, all the different modules. And a lot of, in the past we had the CRM Outlook client. How many people have used the CRM Outlook client, the COM add-in? Leave your hands up if you really like it. Dang, nobody, huh? Shocker. No, so it's been a pain point, right? Because, a lot of different reasons. But, one being it's a COM add-in and just the environment that was put into where, you add this COM add-in into Outlook, but Outlook kind of, they get, they're the boss and they get to decide who stays and who goes. And one of the big things was, if Outlook crashes for any reason, it pops up and it says, hey, this add-in, we believe it caused the crash. Do you want to disable it? Default answer is yes, right? So users click yes, and then they call the help desk, right? Where did my add-in go? Why it's not there anymore? I didn't do anything. It's
Another common request. When are you going to put the COM add-in in Outlook Web Access?
Exactly.
Right. So we got a lot of that.
Right. How can I use it on my mobile device? Right. So it's been all these things, and also just the shift, right, where the CRM Outlook client worked on PCs and Outlook desktop only, right? So pretty limited. There's not very, there's probably no customers here that are only using PC with Outlook desktop only anymore. So that's a big part of the reason why we made this shift to what's called the CRM app for Outlook. And it's been out there for a while. But kind of the new announcement is that we've deprecated the CRM Outlook client. And so you may have seen that, the blog articles there kind of explain the details. And what that means is that this will be the last version, V9, that we're planning to have a CRM Outlook client, right? So in the next major version, what we call V10 today, is that's when there won't be a CRM Outlook client anymore. And that's outlined in the blog, so I'm not announcing anything here. It's already been announced, but I'm not the product team, so that's my disclaimer. It's their words that are out there. I'm just letting you guys know, and be thinking about how to make that move. If we still, we want to have that Outlook integration, we want to be able to have the ability to track emails and have appointments and contacts and tasks synchronized from CRM down into my Outlook, which is just great functionality to have. The CRM app for Outlook does that in conjunction with server-side sync. That's the other part of the requirements that need to be there. But then it works on on PCs, it works on Macs, it works across phones and tablets and all the different devices. So
another wrinkle that we ran into a lot, or when I was taking calls, we would get so-and-so's been traveling out of the country, they forgot their laptop, or they haven't been signing in, their emails aren't tracking, their emails aren't sending, they have notification workflows, and we have pending email items. And so of course one common thing was switch it to a service account, use the email router, which is also, we'll talk about in a minute. But one nice thing with server-side sync, it has its hiccups at times, or wrinkles, and actually the team's been doing a pretty good job of working through those things. But one thing with server-side sync is it's always on all the time and it's running on the server. And so that allows you one spot to go and look at and one spot to run, which for people that are out of the office or traveling, it's much less of a question mark as far as, hey, I'm out of the office, are my emails going to send out, or are things tracking?
Our problem, though, with that server-side sync is salespeople that are on the phone want to immediately send the email to the recipient and have them receive it. Server-side sync is on a sync process,
Mm-hmm.
which you never know whether or not it's going to be immediate.
So the question is, from the salespeople want to be able, when they send the email, they track it in CRM, they want it to immediately send out versus the server-side sync tracking process is asynchronous. So you'll see it's like pending tracking. So the email will go out, right? So but the actual email being marked as sent, that's the tracking process. That's the part that's going to put it in CRM. That's going to happen behind the scenes.
Well, and I think the scenario that he might be talking about is I queue up a sent email. I'm going to send an email from the web UI.
Yeah, from the web
of
it has
Dynamics, and then it'll wait. I believe the max cycle, though, 7 minutes?
It can go longer than that.
Is it longer than that now? For
inactive
back off?
users.
Yeah. So if you have an active user, it should run around 7 minutes tops. And there is a back off, though, where it can exceed that. So I will say that is a piece of common feedback. I know for a fact there's got to be an idea out on that particular piece. And it's definitely something that there's a fine line of when do you back off and how do you back off. So I'm going to speak for Ben and Madan that they would love to hear that feedback and would love to kind of know when to back off and when not to. And I think your scenario is completely valid. And I get it, right? Like, I'm going to send you, we've all been there, right? You're on the phone with Geico or whatever, and yep, we're going to send you that email. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'll just hang out till I get it. And, that's an uncomfortable pause. We're like, no, trust me, it'll be there in a minute. So I get it. But there isn't a great way today. There's a couple tweaks if you're testing, and we can talk about it more in the email area. But if you're testing, you can force it for a particular user to send for the most part. But yeah, not a great way to control that back off right now.
Another question. Hold that thought.
Yep.
We'll talk about that in just a minute. All right. Any other questions on the Outlook? Yeah, no, in the back. Yeah. So the question is the app for Outlook only available for online, or can you use it on-prem as well? You can use it on-prem as well. Yep. And we support hybrid now too, so you can have, like, if you've got on-prem CRM or Dynamics 365, but your Exchange online, you can work that way, and vice versa. If you're Exchange online, but you still have CRM on-prem, it works back and forth. Yep. Another question. So yeah, so I heard it was a little. So from a GDPR perspective, right? So what is the
Basically, what are the extended protection around email? Yeah.
Right.
And yep. So the real, I mean, right now, so activities in and of themselves have a security model around them. Of course, that's general to all activities. Meaning, if you have activities user level only that particular user or people that are shared that record can see it. So that's all implemented in there, and obviously not specific to GDPR, although it plays in, right, because it's part of your security model. So I had not anticipated going into the GDPR topic, to be quite honest with you, but I understand why it comes up.
We're not lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big asterisk on that one. But at the end of the day, there are things. So if you're online specifically, Microsoft is working right now to determine how we're going to implement all of the requirements as far as how we interpret GDPR, and we work with compliance. And so there is a GDPR booth. I saw it down on the expo floor. So certainly I think from the standpoint of what is Microsoft doing, I think they can speak to that. From a CRM perspective, it's something we're working on. In fact, I think there's a pointer article out there that says we're due out with an answer with a specific date as far as how that goes. From a product perspective, on-prem, I mean, to be completely honest, the feedback that we're giving our people internally is, the first step is customers have to work with their own compliance folks and make sure that the interpretation and instruction and compliance around GDPR, that there is a policy at your company, and how are you going to handle the policy? And then from a technical perspective, we help on that. So that's one thing where I guess being in a technical role, we get to kind of say, we'll work with you on the tech piece. We're happy to do that. I'm sure there are product changes that will have to take place because of that. As far as what those are, I'm at this point in time not privy to it. I can tell you that it is a hot topic and one that is being discussed every single day in the halls of Redmond and Bellevue, and have witnessed that firsthand. So I don't have any specific direction around email activities at this point, but.
But more to come on that, and I didn't look at all Matt Barber's topics, but he's doing a platform, kind of a roadmap on the platform, and so he may cover that. He's on one of the PMs on the product team. He'd be a good one to talk to. His session is tomorrow. Matthew Barber, if you look that one up. Okay.
All right. We also want to talk about mobility. So, review your current mobility solution. So if you already have a mobility solution out there, whether you're using a third-party app or, and it depends if you're in an upgrade scenario and you didn't have something. Obviously, this is all new. But let's say you're on an older version of the product and you're online 2016, and now you're going to upgrade to 8.2, or in the future you're going to upgrade to V9 when that's available generally here soon. A big thing is to review what's out there. So if you're CRM online, we have mobile offline. So this is the ability to synchronize data, basically set up filters that synchronize down to your mobile devices. It is online only. It is not an on-prem solution, mobile offline. And it is available for one production org in your tenant today. And so just a couple things, because those are like two questions we constantly get. Okay, how do I do it for on-prem? Mobile offline is not available on-prem. And there is a matrix that I personally think it's fairly clear, but I can see where it wouldn't be super clear. So you can use the mobile client on-prem for phone and tablet. It doesn't do offline, it uses caching. So like if I've opened up Acme Inc. or Acme Anvil and I go out on the road, the record's there, I can see it. If I'm not connected, new stuff won't synchronize. Whereas mobile offline is specifically you have that data set on your device, and when you update it and get reconnected, it pushes the data back online. The other changes somewhat recently, if you haven't looked at the mobile client, and this is something that gets revved with every release, as you might expect, but there's one form now for web, tablet, and phone. There was a lot of confusion between mobile express client, mobile for phones, mobile for tablet, and as part of that, there are custom JavaScript file execute or custom JavaScript execution that now runs on the phone and the tablet as well. So those things work. The big thing to think about there, if you're a developer, you're working with developers on the phone and you're going to use the phone or the tablet client, test on those devices specifically for that custom script. Because if for some reason, I'm sure everybody follows all the supportability guidelines to a T, but if you're not following that, that will, I guarantee you, will be an issue on the phone because it won't look the same if you're going into the DOM and trying to find stuff. And the other thing is to look for the client type. So if you're doing something that you want to do on web client only, make sure you're using that client type. I feel like I was going to say one other thing.
I mean, so if you haven't seen mobile in V9, for those of you, who's in the preview program? Is anybody here in the preview? So you guys seen mobile in V9? Right, so it's a much better look and feel, and it's definitely each release we've taken it a step further. The mobile client gets you to start to look at some of the UCI, Unified Client Interface, to be able to see that. So a lot more coming as we continue with the V9 release and beyond.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about just briefly too. Is UCI is a topic that you may have heard floated out there if you're really plugged into the community. If not, it's this concept of a unified client. We're going to more of a React-based UI, and so those UIs are coming out today in version 9. You're going to see them in the mobile client, you're going to see them in the OWA app for Outlook, you're going to see it in what is now taking over for ISH, if you're familiar with Interactive Service Hub, and I'm sure I'm missing at least one other product that uses UCI. And basically all of our UIs are going to go to this centralized UI where we kind of define how that thing renders based on the device it's on. And then, first question is, what about the web client? Not V9. I would expect that in V9.1, where we're going to start implementing this in the web client. So the web client, you're going to notice in V9, so again, V9 isn't out yet, it'll be out very soon. You're going to notice, though, the UI looks different in a good way, trust me. Looks different, though. There's boxes around the controls, there's boxes around the sections, there's a little bit of a gray offset so you can see the controls. It's basically what a lot of people have been requesting since V8. So those things have happened, but we're calling that kind of a web client refresh. So the underpinnings of the user interface and the web client are the same, and UCI is basically going to change that, and that's why you're seeing deprecation notices around xrm.page.
All right, so the next topic is around email integration. We talked briefly about server-side sync. Server-side sync is the direction that you want to go. So how many people here are still using the legacy CRM email router? One, yes, he is. A couple other ones. So that's been deprecated. That was we've deprecated that earlier. We still have a fair amount of customers that are using it, so that's why it's still around. It's still going to be there in version 9. There'll still be the email router, you'll still be able to use that. But it's the way the announcement reads. It's going to be. It says in a future major version. So we don't, no commitments on when that's going to be, but we would like to see all of our customers over to server-side syncs that are using that, and I would expect to see the old email router go away. So you want to move towards the server-side sync that gives you all the benefits. We talked about a lot of them already with the syncing of the email, appointments, contacts, and tasks versus just the old classic email router that was email only. Sorry, can you repeat that?
inbound email processing.
Yeah, so question is there any problems or that things that we've seen around inbound email with server-side sync?
We're just trying to figure out what module it's utilizing, how it's relating.
Oh, how it determines what emails? Yeah, so, okay, good question. So the server-side sync, when you have it set up for the incoming email like that to monitor, it's going to look, the users each have their own setting and personal options that they can set what emails are going to be tracked for them, right? So if it's going to look at their mailbox and let's say it's sdeacon at Microsoft, it's going to look at my mailbox and it's going to look to see what my default setting is going to be set to track emails in response to CRM emails. That's the default. So if I send an email out of Outlook and I say track in CRM, when that reply comes in, CRM is going to be able to look at that and say, this mailbox, we know we need to track it because they have that option. The other options you can have is you can have it track emails from accounts, contacts, tasks, accounts, contacts, or leads, I believe is the other option. And then there's another one for all email-enabled entities. So if you had a custom entity that you enabled for email, you could have it set on there. And then the last option is all emails. Right, so it would, obviously as a user you wouldn't want to have that, but maybe as a queue, for example, you could have it set up that every email that comes in automatically track that as an email.
The other thing, give a heads up on that. You asked specifically any experiences there. I'll rephrase it that we want to share, and one of them is smart matching. So this has kind of been I don't know the right topic or word, pet peeve, and the reason is it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that smart matching is only as smart as it really is, and what it's looking for is common patterns in emails. And so it's not like a machine learning algorithm that gets better. There's basically a regular expression and some other matching that it's going to take and look at an email and say, oh, you already attached this email into the system, so this must be the same thing because it's to the same people, CC the same people, and it's from somebody that it was to before. So looks like it needs to go there, so I'm going to go ahead and track it. And the problem is for anything like system emails, this is, goes to the same DL every time. It's regarding all kinds of different stuff. That becomes problematic. And in our level of customer, so smaller customers, this really, frankly, isn't usually a problem. Or customers that are more individual users. But when it's our customers who are doing things like queues or outbound system emails or alert emails, it gets a little confusing. And so, the net is, let's go ahead, turn off smart matching, and use token matching instead for that email. So that's usually a recommendation. Start with it off. If you need it on, you can always add it in. So that's one thing to be aware of.
All right. Backup and restore.
All right, backup and restore. Everybody's probably third favorite topic. Backup and restore, if you're in CRM Online, so this is specific to CRM Online or the Customer Engagement Online offering. And backup restore is always done, obviously, by us as a managed service. Those backups are there. We're doing it all the time. We have all kinds of online and available copies of your data in the right places that are encrypted with transparent data encryption. All great, all wonderful, except you're like, I really want to back up right now. And so somewhat recently, like within the last, year and a half or so, we added on-demand backup restore. So this is the ability to say, hey, we're going to make a config change, we're going to do a data migration, we're going to delete some data, whatever I want to do, or I'm going to import a solution or uninstall a solution I just want to back up in case. You can press that button in the UI, it runs a backup right then, and it will take however long it takes, right? Because we're waiting on SQL to finish that backup. That completes, and now I can restore it. Awesome, for 3 days. Okay, so you can restore it for 3 days. Not so awesome if you want to have a backup sitting there forever. So the thing to understand with on-demand backup restore is make your backup and you can restore it. It's more point in time, right now, I need it now, I want to look forward, or I'm doing something short term. In the midterm, like very soon, we have an Azure storage backup functionality that's coming. And so that's been highly sought after. It's there. It's mostly working. It hasn't been fully lit up in our production environments yet. But you can take a backup of your instance, drop it into Azure storage, and that you could archive it off. You could do whatever you want with that data in your storage container, and then you can restore it. And those things, I would expect to have them expire anywhere from 6 months to a year. So more information coming soon. Oh, and backups don't count against your data storage. So if you have 5 gigs and a 4 gig database, the backups don't count towards it. It's all part of the storage cost. And then the Azure storage backups, you host the own storage and you do pay for that storage.
Yep. The other tip I'll throw out for that is what we get commonly is when with a production org, if you are doing some of that, sometimes you'll have things where you get a copy from production into a sandbox org. If you do that, that does count against your storage, but don't be alarmed. If you go over your storage limit, we don't disable your orgs, right? We don't slow down, like drop you down a tier or anything like that. We're going to continue to let you, take the time to make it right. We understand that you have to do that once in a while, and you're going to go and you're going to delete some of that data out there, figure out a way to get back within your storage so you're within the license policy. Obviously, we want you in compliance, but there's been questions on that. Way back early on, we used to put you in a read-only mode. You can imagine that caused a lot of panic, so we don't do that anymore. So let's talk about updates. How do we get these updates? Dynamics 365. The promise of the online service is just these. You're always current, always have these updates. So we've got updates that we release every week or every couple weeks, depending on the number of ones that we have out there and the testing cycles that we're going through. And these service updates are ones that are out there. They get deployed and they're non-interruptive. Or you shouldn't have any impact by these. Your org stays up the whole time. And unless there's a really big database update, and you have a really big database, sometimes there's a little bit of a hiccup there. And we report that in the Office 365 Message Center. So if you go into the Office 365 Message Center, you'll get there's a notification listed in there. You'll see that at this time between this maintenance window, your organization is going to be updated. And so we do these as rolling updates. We'll start usually all the way across over in Japan and other regions, and we start to roll this up, and then it'll kind of come across the world over to North America, typically being the last geo that get those updates. Within those the announcements that are there, recently we've added back now the actual version, so it tells you you're getting an update, and you can actually see what update it is. Right, if you're on 8.2, the .360 release was the most recent one, so you'll see that one. There's a knowledge base article that we've got, it's a living one, that you can see what are the latest updates that are pushed out there and what actual fixes came in there. And this is typically bug fixes. This isn't going to be like new features and functionality for the most part. These are actually like service updates, so bug fixes that are available. The other updates that are bigger, the customer-driven updates. So this is how do we move from 8.2 to V9, for example. This is where you as CRM administrators or CRM or Dynamics 365 service administrators will be able to go in and schedule your actual CDU. So you can say that we want to, at this date, we want to go ahead and push across our development environment so we can test it out. If everything goes well, 2 days later we're going to do staging, and then we're going to do production on Friday. So you can go in and schedule those, and those are the ones that actually bring you. It's like moving from 8.2 to V9, the ones that are available. Questions on that?
All right, online management API. So this has been long sought after. This is something that just came out. It's sort of, I think in the MVP and partner community hit really big and everybody knew about it. I think in the customer space, it just sort of went out. And I don't know that a lot of people know about it. So we want to make sure that we highlight it. The online management API, I think everybody that has, again, online, you log into this portal, like aka.ms/CRM instance picker for the US. And you log into this instance picker and you can do things like change the name, you can change it between prod and sandbox and do all these configurations, and you can do things like create a new org or instance of CRM, back it up, restore it, all those things, right? So the online management API is our start and feature to deal with this from a programmatic standpoint. So it's a OAuth protected OData or web API based API in the cloud. And we have examples of how to connect to it. And there's actually, I think a gentleman in the crowd made it aware. I knew there was a preview of this that was coming out. I didn't realize we published it already. So it came out, I think, on Friday. We were having some trouble getting it published, and apparently it worked. So it's out there. And we're going to be demoing it tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow in theater number 9 at 12:35 p.m., we're going to demo the PowerShell, both the organization data management as well as the online management API. And we've got a repeat of that too. That's over in one of the hotels over in the Hyatt. Regardless, the online management API is a great little API to do things like backup, restore, and create, delete instances now. You're going to notice that you can do a couple minor things in the online management API that aren't quite in the UI yet. And you're going to find a few things that you can do in the UI that aren't in the management API. So they're not 100% in sync, just a warning. What is in sync is whatever you do here will work. And the idea is that our roadmap for the online management API in the short term. So like, sometimes still within this year, we'd like to get some updates out and sync that up with the user interface so you can do things like change a name. But today, if you simply wanted to script the creation of an instance of CRM Online, or you wanted to build it into your CI/CD pipeline and create an instance, then go download the XRM Data PowerShell or XRM tooling, and that allows you to create an instance in CRM Online, publish a zip file of your solution that you built out of TFS, and then run some tests against it, and then immediately turn around, back it up, and or delete it. You can now do that fully scripted, fully automated, and this makes it possible. And you can do it using Python if you want to, or you can do it using PowerShell, which is now out and available in the PowerShell gallery.
All right, next topic, we mentioned it briefly, but production versus sandbox instances. And so when you're working with Dynamics 365, typically you're going to have one sandbox and one production instance. Larger organizations are going to have potentially multiple sandbox orgs. They might have the dev, test, stage, and then production. You can purchase as many as you want. Those are available there. One of the kind of the myths that we have in that is that sandbox orgs are slower. And so we've had customers where I'm talking to them, they're like, well, we know it's slow in the sandbox org, but I'm sure when we move it to production, it'll be fast. That's false, right? I mean, if it is slow in the sandbox org, it's going to be slow in production. We treat all the orgs as production orgs. They're all on similar scale groups that we have internally with similar hardware. And so if you have those issues, you need to figure out what's going on with them, work with us, work with the support team. Another thing to call out, I've had a number of people at the Expo that didn't know that as part of your Dynamics 365 online subscription, you get unlimited free reactive support. Right, so you're not charged, if you're like an on-premise, you're charged, especially with Premier, you're charged for the PRS hours, the problem resolution support hours. But when you move to online with Premier, you still go to the Premier support queue, so the top queue with the senior engineers, and it's still free. So it's really a great resource. So don't bang your head against the wall.
It's not free, it's included.
It's included, thank you. It's included, it's a value add. Good call out. But so take a look at that, make sure that if you're stuck, open a support case. These folks, this is what they do all day long, right? Is they've got these pods of engineers that are very technical and specific on certain areas to help you get those resolutions.
All right, who in the audience is a developer or deals with code in Dynamics 365? Okay, a few. Then I won't harp too much on this. And hopefully I won't harp at all. But there's a little bit of mild panic going on. We announced the deprecation of the 2011 endpoint, which has been there since, there you go, 2011. Yep. So it's been there a while. The good news is it's stood the test of time for the most part. It's done okay. But it's time to go with the new, cool, hip kid on the block, and Web API is ushered in with OAuth. And it's just the new way. Everybody's going that way. And frankly, it's what everybody expects, right? So modern auth, modern Web API, there's a lot of frameworks out there to deal with it. And frankly, it's expected from us. So we have a OData endpoint, a Web API that's available. And first off, we recommend you get familiar with that, right? So it's a little bit different. As V9 comes out, we are what we believe are at feature parity, meaning you can do pretty much everything you want to do with that API that you could do with the 2011 API. Now, there might be some exceptions, and that's where the ideas portal and support comes in if there's a miss there. But the idea is that we're at full parity, and what you're going to find out is that new functionality and new messages and new approaches to integration are going to go in the new Web API, and the old API is going to stay where it's at. We should be in a position now where we can deprecate it and get rid of it in the next major release. Right now, that's what we're planning on doing. Realistically, does it go away, or do we just sunset support for it? That kind of is more semantics, I think, than anything else. From a customer and partner perspective, this is absolutely something you should be looking at. So I have a .NET console app that's mission critical. Should I panic? Should I go write an HTTP client? Should I write my own integration, redo everything from scratch? And the answer is no, don't do that. If you have a .NET client, stay on .NET. Use NuGet. Update your SDK references, meaning 8.2 is out there, update the library, and just stay updated. An update comes out, maybe lag one behind, 8.2.1 or something. But stay updated, and this means when a new update comes out, try it out, test it, get used to that, because what we're going to do is we will handle this for you from a .NET standpoint. We're going to take our .NET SDK, we're going to start transitioning over to using the web API. So when you say, hey, entity delete, we can call the web API instead of the org service, and we'll move forward that way, right? So we're going to slowly transition out of it. By slowly, I mean there might be a majority of calls that come out, but we're not going to just all of a sudden say, this is gone, here's the new thing. That's the plan right now. Now, you have a Java application, you've written something in, I don't know, some other language that connects to CRM, which is, frankly a pain, right? It's not very easy with WCF. In that case, should you be worried in planning? Don't be worried, plan, and plan aggressively. Start looking at web API, use ADOL, update your integration to use JSON and use that web API, because obviously there's no way that we can programmatically upgrade everybody to that. That service endpoint, support for it will be sunset. It is going away. I don't know when we're going to delete it, but just keep in mind if you're not using the .NET platform, you are going to need to do some work. Please study and get that work done.
All right, the next topic is organization insights. So whether you're using sales, service, or any of the different solutions or apps that are out there, we've got this organization insights solution. It's a managed solution. It's available on AppSource today and gives you insights into who's using your application. This is one of the big gaps that we've had for years with the application. You guys as implementers go and take all the business requirements and you work for a year, get everything figured out and deploy, everybody's happy, and then management asks, are people using it? Oh yeah. Yeah, they're using it, right? And there's that awkward silence. People are not really sure. So with this, you can actually see who's using the system, what are they doing in the system, and be able to, there's a whole bunch of different charts that are available in there. You can export this stuff so that you can have kind of date ranges. So I can look at what was it last week, and then we just did that big training in that sales conference, and hopefully we've doubled our usage of this, so we can tell management that this has been a good investment of our time. Question. Okay.
So that when certain things happen, it triggers an alert, because unless you're sitting there actually looking at the dashboard, stuff can go wrong and you don't even realize it.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, the point was, great, it's good, we've been using it, but geez, we'd really like to program against it and do some alerting. I will tell you, if you read one of the articles on, I think it's MSDN, it says, and by the way, there's an API for this. And it's just sort of in there, and it was tossed out in one of the articles. There is an API, it's not it's not documented at all, but basically you query an entity. Yeah, there's no way other than to say it. It's just out there saying there is an API for it. So I will tell you, you can, the way we're accessing the data, we use a CRM entity. If you use Fiddler, you can see which entity we query to go get that data. So we query back into CRM using the web API, and then that data comes out. You can do the same thing and program against it. Is it, a really great, awesome experience and a custom message? No, not at this point. But for things like alerts, for failed workflows or storage, it does give you some of those capabilities, and it's pretty handy.
We use another app source to redirect our attachments to Azure storage.
Yep.
And discovered that it's sending them to Azure storage, but it's still keeping them in Dynamics, and it's still consuming storage space in Dynamics.
That's not the one from Labs, is it? Okay, well,
got
report that bug. That's not good. And the point was, from AppSource, there's a storage redirect. There's one specifically from Microsoft Labs that we're using internally, but storage got out of control because it's still storing it anyway. So number one, that is a bug. But number two, storage is important to monitor, absolutely. And you can do some. I'm hoping that we can get some of that data too through the admin API. Yes.
Yeah, so the question is about the filters that are set up, basically the charts and the criteria behind them. Can we tweak those a little bit? I don't think right now you can. I have not seen a way. There was just a release done this week or the end of last week. That's out there. It's the 1.3 release. For those of you who are admins, you should see the banner when you log into the application. It'll tell you there's a new version. We don't automatically update. It's not like your phone that you're just going to get updates, because we want you to be able the ability to test this in lower lanes first and then move it up when you guys are ready through your process. So go check that out. That added the ability to filter on users. So there's ability to do some of that, and we're continuing. And there's a bunch of new charts that were added again. So we can continue to release this one. This isn't dependent on any major CRM release. These are ones that we could update this every week if we wanted to. And there's a lot of new features coming there. So put that feedback out there. Put it on AKA MS CRM ideas. We want to have, that's where the filter rate came from, right? Because it was like integration users, system users are always the top ones off the charts, and it skews the whole chart. Now you have the ability to filter some of that down.
Yeah, and you're in good company. I'll be honest. I mean, like, a lot of customers ask for that, right? Like, well, we have 12 users. Where'd the other 2 go? Where are they at? Or we have 2,000 users, and so it's a common request. All right, and let's jump in real quick. UI automation testing. So I don't know if anybody's heard of this. It's called Easy Repro. At least that's what we call it internally. It's a UI automation testing library. It's something that we worked with a customer specifically on and handed it over to the product group and R&D team. It's written on top of Selenium. So Selenium's not a Microsoft thing. It's a web driver. It drives your web browser for you. It clicks on your behalf and moves the mouse around and stuff like that. And so this is a .NET code that sits on top of Selenium and says, hey, I understand CRM, and we give you a little bit more of an easy way to say, hey, click the hamburger, click accounts, select this view, open up the third account on the list, and then press the down arrow. And by the way, every time you click something, take a screenshot. Or launch the Perf Center and press Control-Shift-E and take a screenshot. It is available. It just drives the browser, so it will work in on-prem. What you'll have to do, and here's the thing, it's full source code, it's open source, it's on the Microsoft GitHub. Just search for Easy Repro, aka.ms/Easy Repro was created for this. And the full source code is there. So we automatically build in a login method. So if you have like claims in IFD, you can provide it a login. But for on-prem, you could just skip the login essentially because that would happen. And it's supposed to be a starter kit and a way to get started with UI testing. Is this a full? Sure. Yep. So you're using claims-based, yes. If you're not, yes. Though you might have to tweak it a little bit, right? And that's why the source code is up there. This is a getting started piece. It works for really basic testing and more of a micro testing environment. It's not a replacement for any type of unit testing, but it's really there. Like, I want to run a user scenario, and perfect scenario. I want to run this 25 times, and I want to track it. And by the way, we also put a feature in. You give it an App Insights key, and everything it does, it logs it up to Application Insights for you, so you can go track it too in your own telemetry instance. Basically, I want to run this, and I'm going to do it 25 times in a row. And then I'm going to update my JavaScript on load, and I'm going to do it 25 times in a row. Did I make it slower? Did I make it faster? Did I break it? This will help you answer those questions and give you a little bit more control over testing that.
All right, and the last one we have here, and some people I know had to leave. So I'll skip ahead to one thing. Please fill out your surveys. We want to get the surveys. That's how we get to come back. McNillis and I, as we were prepping for this, we've presented about 45 plus sessions together throughout the years at Convergence and now Ignite. So we really like doing it. We like hearing from all of you and the questions and getting to talk with you afterwards. Will be available as well and at the expo. So please fill out your surveys. That's how we get to come back here if you like these type of sessions, this type of content. So the service admin and the gentleman had to leave who had the question, so I said wait till the end, and he left. So hopefully he checks out the blog, it's in there. But the Dynamics 365 Service Administrator is a new Office 365 role that was added recently. And a lot of companies, especially enterprise companies, had problems where we had too many things in CRM where you had to be a global admin for in the past. You had to be a global admin to configure new tenants or new instances. You had to be a global admin to approve email addresses. And so we've gotten rid of that now. We've got the Service Administrator. And the last thing that you couldn't do was approve email addresses. And with the latest update that we just pushed out about a week and a half ago, the 360 build, now it automatically approves email addresses. So
as long as your UPN and your primary email matches the primary email in CRM, new users will have their email addresses approved automatically.
Exactly. So when they come across, they meet that criteria, they're automatically approved. If you go and change the email address, and somebody, maybe they have a name change for whatever reason, and then you'd have to have a global admin approve it at that point. But it's a nice one less thing that you need the global admin to do, and you can kind of manage everything within your own. So the question is, except for portals, and there's a few other, I think, voice of the customer, and there's a couple other solutions that I had seen where you still had to be a global admin to deploy some of those. So we'll continue to work on those. We're trying to get away from that, right? We don't want you to have to be a global admin to do a lot of that stuff.
By the way, quick tip, if you are a global admin and you don't have on MFA, there's internet, so turn it on right now. So that's a common little plug from our Azure Identity folks. If you have a global admin account, MFA it, multi-factor off.
Right.
Just a quick security tip.
And a couple other resources. Again, there's our blog, CRM in the Field. We've got other PFE services that we deliver, so that's part of what our team does is these proactive services. So we do things like code reviews, performance benchmarks, performance reviews. We do admin workshops, dev workshops. We do a lot of these different proactive work with our customers. And these are all services, so for those of you who are Premier support customers, you're interested in those services, want to see some more about those, check it out, talk with your technical account manager. And if there's any of you that are looking at for help deploying where we're going to be moving to the cloud, or you just need help upgrading to the next version, we also have our Microsoft Consulting Services. There's a link to that there. If you're looking to get some of that expert assistance on there and you want to get it direct from Microsoft, that link will get you started with that information. So I know we're just over in time. I know everybody's got other sessions they want to get to. So there's our evaluate. But thank you for your time. This was great.
Yep, we appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
I hope you guys have a good rest of the Ignite.